Please be advised of the updated list of countries under green, yellow, and red categories as... Hello everyone, welcome to Life in the Philippines News. I'm BobbieD. Today's headline, Philippines Travel New Advisory Update. Relative to IATF Resolution Numbers 144A and 144B, dated October 14, 2021, please be advised of the updated list of countries under the green, yellow, and red categories and corresponding health and quarantine requirements effective from 16 to 31st of October 2021. Now, here's a list of the new green list countries: Algeria, American Samoa, Botswana, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Cayman Islands, Chad, China, Comoros, Republic of the Congo, Cook Islands, Antria, Falkland Islands, Gibraltar, Hong Kong, Kiribati, Madagascar, Mali, Marshall Islands, Federated States of Micronesia, Montserrat, Nauru, New Zealand, Nicaragua, Niger, Niue, Korea, Northern Mariana Islands, Palau, Poland, Sabah, St. Helena, St. Pierre, Samoa, Sierra Leone, St. Eustatius, Solomon Islands, Sudan, Syria, Taiwan, Pakistan, Tanzania, Tokelau, Tonga, Turkmenistan, Tuvalu, Uzbekistan, Vanuatu, and Yemen. And now, quarantine and testing requirements for green listed countries. 1. For fully vaccinated passengers. A. For foreign nationals, a negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours prior to departure from country of origin, and no facility-based quarantine required in arrival, but are encouraged to undergo 14 days self-monitoring for symptoms. For Filipinos, facility-based quarantine until release of negative RT-PCR test, or no facility-based quarantine, but shall be required of 1. Negative RT-PCR test taken within 72 hours prior to departure, country of origin, and 2. 14 days self-monitoring for symptoms. 2. For unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or individuals whose vaccination status can be validated, and those vaccinated but failed to comply with the test before travel requirements. A. For foreign nationals, pre-booked facility quarantine accommodations for at least 6 days. B. For Filipinos, facility-based quarantine until the release of negative RT-PCR test on the 5th day. 3. For unvaccinated, partially vaccinated minor children traveling with fully vaccinated parents or guardians, quarantine requirements shall correspond with vaccination status. A parent guardian shall accompany the minor to completion of the facility-based quarantine. Testing and quarantine requirements for yellow list countries. 1. For fully unvaccinated passengers. A. For foreign nationals, pre-booked facility quarantine accommodation for at least 6 days. B. For Filipinos, facility-based quarantine until release of negative RT-PCR test on the 5th day. Number 2. For unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or individuals whose vaccination status cannot be validated by Philippine authorities as coming from the yellow list. A. For foreign nationals, pre-booked facility quarantine accommodation for at least 8 days. B. For Filipinos, facility-based quarantine until the release of negative RT-PCR test on the 7th day. Testing and quarantine requirement for red list country. Number 1. For fully unvaccinated passengers. A. For foreign nationals, pre-booked facility quarantine accommodation for at least 6 days. B. For Filipinos, facility-based quarantine until release of negative RT-PCR test on the 5th day. 2. For unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, or individuals whose vaccination status cannot be validated by Philippine authorities as coming from the yellow list. A. For foreign nationals, pre-booked facility quarantine accommodation for at least 8 days. B. For Filipinos, facility-based quarantine until the release of negative RT-PCR test on the 7th day. The red list country, Romania. All passengers coming from or who have been to the red list country within the last 14 days shall not be allowed entry except returning Filipinos via government-initiated and biennial repatriation flights. subject to health and quarantine protocols. Returning Filipinos shall undergo 14-day quarantine, 10-day facility-based, and home quarantine until completion of an RT-PCR test on the 7th day, when the date of their arrival being the first day. And those who transferred or who have a mere layover at the airport of the residence country, a layover only at the airport and with no immigrant admission at said country, shall not be deemed as coming from the said country. Proof of vaccination requirements. Further, for validation purposes of vaccination status, the following shall be presented. Passenger categories are as follows: overseas Filipino workers with their spouse, their parents, and children traveling with them, vaccinated in the Philippines or abroad. Non-OFWs vaccinated in the Philippines or abroad. Foreigners vaccinated in the Philippines. Proof of vaccination status: any of the following: a VaxCert digital vaccination certificate, Bureau of Quarantine, World Health Organization, who initiated, a certificate of vaccination and prophylaxis, a national state digital certificate of the foreign government where they were vaccinated abroad, and the vax certificate under reciprocal arrangement. And finally, for foreigners vaccinated abroad, the following is required: who issued international certificate of vaccination or prophylaxis, or national state digital certificate of the foreign government where they were vaccinated abroad and has a vax certificate under reciprocal arrangement. Make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any update coming from Live in the Philippines News. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Hey, don't forget, check out some of our other cool videos.